The hotel hallway drowns in pale yellow light, silent except for the hum of air conditioning behind closed doors. My phone vibrates in my hand. A short message from my boss. "Single dad, come to my room." But don't knock. I stand frozen, not from fear, but from confusion. We're just boss and employee. She's cold, perfect, never crosses boundaries. So why me? And why tonight, in this hotel, far from home, when one wrong step could destroy everything: my career, my reputation, the life of a single father? My name is James Hartley. I'm 34, an IT technician at Meridian Tech Solutions for 3 years. It pays the bills, barely. Every morning starts at 5:30. Wake Lily, my 7-year-old, help her brush teeth, pack lunch, drop her at before-school program by 7. Race across town to clock in by 8. Our apartment is small. 1 bedroom for her, pull-out couch for me. Rent increased twice this year. I skip lunch to cover it. Lily thinks I'm not hungry. Last month was her birthday. She wanted a bike. I got her a book about space. She smiled anyway. That smile haunts me. My ex-wife, Jennifer, left when Lily was 3. "I'm not meant to be a mother," she said, packed 2 suitcases, moved to Oregon. The divorce papers came certified mail. She sends cards sometimes. I don't hate her. I just wake up and do the work. At Meridian, I'm invisible. I fix networks, reset passwords, install updates. Executives don't know my name. I'm furniture, except to Victoria Chen, the Chief Operations Officer. She's not my direct supervisor, but when tech infrastructure matters to executives, it matters to her. I've been in 3 meetings with her. She speaks with surgical precision. No wasted words, no small talk. Questions that make people squirm because she expects real answers. I respect her. Everyone does. This business trip came up suddenly. Major client presentation in Chicago. Marcus was supposed to go, but his wife went into early labor. They sent me. Mrs. Patterson, my neighbor, agreed to stay overnight with Lily. I left detailed instructions. Bedtime at 8:30, stuffed rabbit on the left side of the pillow. Lily hugged me at the door. "Come back tomorrow, Daddy." Tomorrow, I promised. The presentation went fine. Victoria delivered the pitch with controlled intensity. The clients signed. Afterwards, I grabbed a sandwich and ate in my hotel room. Around 10, I called Lily. Already asleep. I was getting ready for bed when my phone buzzed. Victoria Chen, Co-O. "Single dad, come to my room, but don't knock." I read it 3 times. Victoria Chen is 41. She joined Meridian 4 years ago. Within 18 months, she was COO. She reorganized supply chains, renegotiated vendor contracts, handled the crisis when our data center flooded. People call her the Ice Queen. Not because she's mean, she never raises her voice, never humiliates anyone. She's just unreachable. Rumors swirl. Divorced, never married. Someone saw her at a restaurant once. The consensus: she doesn't need anyone. I never participate in these conversations. People deserve privacy, but I notice things. She never eats lunch in the cafeteria. Orders Thai delivery, same dish every time. Once I was in her office running diagnostics, the container sat on her desk, still full, cold. She'd forgotten to eat. Last year, I saw her working alone at 11 p.m., staring at her laptop with an expression I couldn't name, just exhaustion. At the holiday party, I watched her make rounds, smiling the correct amount, saying the correct things. Then she slipped out early. I was leaving too. Saw her in the parking lot, sitting in her car, forehead against the steering wheel. I didn't mention it to anyone. 6 months ago, the email server crashed on a Saturday. I drove in, spent 4 hours fixing it. Victoria was there too. She brought me coffee from the executive lounge. Thank you for coming in. I know it's your day. She noticed my phone background Lily at the park. Your daughter? Yes. Lily. She looks happy. I try. Victoria nodded. Monday, I found a $500 bookstore gift card on my desk. The note said, "For Lily's birthday. V. C. I never told anyone. It felt private. The Westmore Hotel is nicer than anywhere I've stayed. Marble floors, chandeliers, staff who call you sir. My room is on the 8th floor, small but clean. The bed is enormous. After the call to Lily, I sat on that bed thinking about nothing. That's a skill you develop as a single parent. Outside, rain began. Soft, then heavier. I was brushing my teeth when the message came. My phone was on the counter, screen up. The notification appeared silently. Single dad, come to my room. But don't knock. I stared, toothbrush in my mouth, toothpaste dripping. Single dad. She's never called me that. Come to my room, but don't knock. I rinsed, washed my face, stared at myself in the mirror. My first thought was the obvious one. But not Victoria. Not like this. My second thought, I'm being tested. My third thought, she needs help. That one stuck. I've worked tech support long enough to recognize a crisis message. Too short, too urgent. Don't knock isn't seductive, it's tactical. Something is wrong. I could ignore it. Pretend I'd fallen asleep. Tomorrow, pack my bag, catch my flight, forget this happened. But if she needed help, and I did nothing, I thought about Lily. What would I teach her by walking away? I put on my shoes. The elevator to the 14th floor took 30 seconds. I counted. The hallway was silent. Deep blue carpet, subtle damask walls. Room 1447. I stood outside for a full minute. Don't knock. I tested the handle. It turned. Unlocked. I pushed the door open 6 inches. The room was dark except for city glow through curtains. Come in. Victoria's voice. Steady. Close the door. I stepped inside. The door clicked shut. The room mirrored mine. Victoria sat in the armchair by the window, facing me. Navy blazer, white blouse, tailored pants. No shoes. Her face was unreadable. Sit down, James. She's never used my first name. I sat on the bed edge. Silence stretched. I'm not apologizing for the message, she said. And I'm not explaining it yet. First, I need to know if I made a mistake trusting you. Trusting me with what? That's what I'm deciding. I waited. She stood, walked to the window, looked out at the rain. Do you know why I chose you for this trip? Marcus's wife went into labor. I knew 3 days ago. I could have sent someone else. I chose you. She turned. In the dim light, she looked smaller, more human. Because you're the only person in that office who's never wanted anything from me. Victoria didn't sit back down. She paced slowly, arms crossed, as if choosing each word with the same precision she used in board meetings. 3 months ago, she began, I discovered that someone inside Meridian has been embezzling funds. Small amounts, carefully disguised as vendor overpayments and equipment purchases, roughly $800,000 over 2 years. I sat very still. I've been investigating quietly. Very quietly. Because the person responsible is someone senior. Someone protected. Someone who could destroy my career and the company if they knew I was coming for them. Who? I asked. Robert Thorne, the CFO. Victoria's equal. Some would say her superior. Jesus. I have evidence, she continued. Emails, transfers, forged signatures, enough to prove it. But I made a mistake. I kept the evidence on the company server, encrypted but accessible to anyone with high-level admin privileges. I understood immediately. He found out this afternoon. During the presentation, I received an email from an anonymous account. No message. Just a file attachment, a screenshot of my investigation folder. Someone's telling me they know. Could it be someone else? Not Thorn? Thorn has 2 people in IT who owe him favors. They could access anything. She sat down again, finally, looking exhausted. Tomorrow morning, I'm supposed to present quarterly financials to the board. If Thorn releases this information that I've been investigating him without authorization, that I've been accessing confidential financial records, that I've kept this from the CEO, I'll be fired before lunch, and he'll bury the evidence of his crimes while everyone's focused on crucifying me. Why not go to the CEO now? Because Daniel, our CEO, is Thorn's college roommate. They've been friends for 30 years. Without ironclad proof, Daniel will never believe me. He'll think I'm trying to stage a coup. I processed this. So, what do you need from me? I need someone to be my witness, she said. I need someone who has nothing to gain and everything to lose by lying. I need someone who can testify, if necessary, that I showed them the evidence tonight, that it existed before Thorn could destroy it, and that I acted in good faith. But I'm nobody. Exactly. That's why you matter. Thorn can claim I manipulated executives, bribed board members, conspired with rivals. But he can't claim I manipulated you. You're too small for him to have anticipated. I felt something cold in my chest. If I do this, he'll come after me. I could lose my job. I have a daughter. I know. Silence. Why me? I asked again. Specifically, me. Victoria looked at me for a long moment. Because 6 months ago, you came in on a Saturday to fix a server. You didn't complain. You didn't ask for overtime. You just did the work. And when I thanked you, you said, "It's not about me." She paused. And because you're the only person I've ever met who loves something more than they fear losing everything. Victoria pulled a laptop from her bag and opened it on the small desk. The screen glowed blue in the darkness. "I'm going to show you everything," she said. "And then you're going to decide." For the next hour, she walked me through a financial conspiracy that would have made headlines. Forged vendor invoices, fake equipment purchases, money routed through shell companies and eventually into offshore accounts. $800,000 over 2 years. Thorn had been clever. Each theft was small enough to hide in the noise of a company our size. But together, they painted a clear picture. "How did you even find this?" I asked. "By accident." I was reviewing a budget discrepancy and noticed a pattern. Too many payments to a vendor I'd never heard of. I started digging. "You could have delegated this. To who?" "I don't know who else he's working with. I don't know who I can trust." She said it simply, but I heard the weight behind it. "The loneliness. That must be lonely," I said. She looked at me, surprised, as if no one had ever acknowledged the cost of her isolation. "It is." We were quiet for a moment. Outside, the rain had stopped, leaving only the sound of water dripping from the eaves. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Sure. Why did you really come up here? You could have ignored the message, pretended you never saw it." I thought about it. About all the reasons I'd told myself in the elevator. About the real reason underneath them all. Because I've spent 3 years being invisible, and you saw me anyway. You saw me and treated me like I mattered. That's rare. Something changed in her expression. Not a smile, exactly. Just softness. A crack in the armor she wore so carefully. "I'm tired, James. I'm so tired of being the person everyone thinks I am. The Ice Queen, the machine. I just wanted one person to see me as human before I potentially lose everything tomorrow." "You're human," I said. "You've always been human. People just don't look close enough to see it." She nodded slowly, and I saw her throat work as she swallowed hard. "Tell me about your daughter." So I did. I told her about Lily's obsession with astronauts, how she wears her plastic space helmet to breakfast and insists on eating freeze-dried cereal. I told her about the time Lily asked why we don't have a mommy like other kids, and I didn't know what to say, so I just held her until she fell asleep. I told her about being terrified every single day that I'm not enough. that I'm failing, that one day Lily will realize her father is just a guy who fixes computers and couldn't even keep her mother from leaving. Victoria listened without interrupting, her eyes never leaving my face. When I finished, she said quietly, "She's lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have her. That's the difference between you and me," Victoria said. "You have someone who needs you to come home. I just have this." She gestured at the laptop, the evidence, the career she'd built brick by brick. "Sometimes I wonder what it's all for. It's not nothing. It feels like nothing right now." We sat there, two people who barely knew each other, sharing the kind of honesty that only comes from exhaustion and fear and the strange safety of knowing this moment would never repeat itself. "I'll do it," I said. She looked up sharply. "You'll testify? I'll be your witness. I'll tell the truth about what you showed me tonight. Whatever happens. James, you could lose. I know what I could lose. But if I don't help you, I lose something worse. I lose the ability to look my daughter in the eye and tell her to do the right thing." Victoria's composure finally cracked. Not tears, exactly. But her eyes were bright, and her voice was unsteady when she spoke. "Thank you." Victoria spent the next 30 minutes preparing. She made copies of the evidence on 3 encrypted USB drives. One for me, one for her lawyer, one for herself. She wrote a detailed timeline of her investigation, signed and dated it. "Tomorrow morning," she explained, "I'm going to call an emergency board meeting before the financial presentation. I'm going to present the evidence to Daniel and the other board members. Thorne will be in the room. He'll deny everything. And that's when you need me. I'll have you join the meeting remotely. You'll confirm that you saw this evidence tonight, that it existed in its current form, and that I'm not fabricating it in response to Thorne's threats. Will they believe me? I don't know. But it's better than nothing." She handed me one of the USB drives. It was small, black, unremarkable. "Don't lose this. Don't plug it into any device connected to the company network. And don't tell anyone you have it until I call you tomorrow." I put it in my pocket. "What happens if this doesn't work?" I asked. "Then Thorne wins. I'm fired. The investigation dies. And he keeps stealing until someone else catches him if anyone ever does. And me? You'll be collateral damage. Thorne will make sure you never work in this industry again." She said it without sugarcoating, and I appreciated that. "What about you personally?" I asked. "If you lose everything, what happens to Victoria Chen?" She considered the question. "I don't know. I've spent my entire adult life building this career. It's all I have. If it's gone..." She trailed off. "I guess I'll find out who I am without it." "You'll still be you." "Will I?" It wasn't a rhetorical question. She genuinely didn't know. I thought about my own life, the divorce, the job losses before I found Meridian, the nights when I didn't know if I could keep going. After Jennifer left, I said, I thought I'd disappeared, like I wasn't a real person anymore, just a collection of tasks. Feed Lily, pay rent, survive. But you know what I learned? What? You don't disappear. You just become quieter. And in the quiet, you figure out what actually matters. For me, it's Lily. Everything else is noise. Victoria absorbed this. "What matters to you?" I asked. She thought for a long time. "Fairness," she finally said. "I hate seeing people get away with things because they're powerful. I hate that people like Thorne can steal and lie, and people like you, good people, have to scrape by. Then that's who you are, with or without this job." She met my eyes. "I'm glad you're the one here tonight." "Me too." I left Victoria's room at 1 in the morning. The hallway was still empty, still silent. I rode the elevator down to the 8th floor, walked to my room, locked the door behind me. I didn't sleep. I sat on the bed, USB drive in my hand, and thought about Lily. If this went wrong, I wouldn't just lose my job. I'd be blacklisted. No one in tech would hire me after going up against a CFO. I'd end up working retail or driving for delivery services, making minimum wage. maybe less. We'd lose the apartment, the stability I'd fought so hard to build, maybe end up in a shelter. Maybe I'd have to call Jennifer, beg her to take Lily for a while until I got back on my feet. The thought made me physically sick, but the alternative was worse. If I did nothing, I'd keep my job, keep my apartment, keep my safe, small life. But I'd also teach Lily that safety matters more than integrity, that you protect yourself first and worry about right and wrong later, that when powerful people do bad things, you look away, and I'd have to live with knowing that I'd watched someone good get destroyed, just because they had less power than their enemy. I thought about the day Lily was born. Jennifer was in labor for 14 hours. I held her hand, whispered encouragement, tried to be useful. When Lily finally arrived, tiny and furious and perfect, the doctor placed her on Jennifer's chest. Jennifer looked down at her and said, "I don't know how to do this." I didn't either. But I said, "We'll figure it out." We didn't. Jennifer left. But I stayed. And every day since then, I've tried to be the kind of person Lily could be proud of. Not successful, not wealthy, not powerful, just good, just honest, just there. At 5 a.m., my phone rang. It was Mrs. Patterson. "Everything okay?" I asked, heart racing. "Everything's fine. Lily just woke up and wanted to say good morning before you left. Put her on." A moment later, Lily's sleepy voice. "Hi, sweetheart. You okay?" "Yeah." "When are you coming home?" "This afternoon. I'll pick you up from school." "Okay. I love you." "I love you too." We hung up. I looked at the USB drive in my hand. Then I looked at my phone, at the photo of Lily on my lock screen. She was wearing her space helmet, grinning at the camera, missing 2 front teeth, more than anything, but not more than doing what's right. Because if I taught her that safety mattered more than integrity, then what was the point of any of this? What kind of father would I be? I got dressed. I put the USB drive in my pocket, and I waited for Victoria's call. The board meeting was scheduled for 9 a.m. Victoria called me at 8:30. "Are you ready?" she asked. "As ready as I'll be. I'm about to walk in. I'll call you when I need you." "Victoria, good luck." "Thank you, James." She hung up. I waited in my hotel room, laptop open, phone in my hand. My flight was at 3. At 9:15, my phone rang. "I'm putting you on speaker," Victoria said. Her voice was tight. "You're joining a board meeting with CEO Daniel Morrison, CFO Robert Thorne, and 3 board members. Understood, Mr. Hartley." Daniel Morrison's voice. "I'm told you have information relevant to a serious accusation Miss Chen has made. You understand that providing false testimony is grounds for termination and legal action?" "I understand. Please describe your interaction with Miss Chen last night." I told them everything. The message, the meeting, the evidence, the timeline, the USB drive in my pocket. Silence. Then Robert Thorne spoke. Smooth, practiced. "Let me understand. Miss Chen invited you, a junior IT technician, to her hotel room late at night, alone, and showed you confidential financial records. Does that seem appropriate? She needed a witness, or she needed a patsy, someone she could manipulate. Tell me, what exactly did Miss Chen offer you?" "Nothing." "Nothing? You expect us to believe you're doing this from goodness of your heart? I expect you to look at the evidence." "What evidence? Files that could have been fabricated an hour ago?" Victoria's voice cut in. "Then verify it. James has a drive with encrypted files. I have matching files. My lawyer has matching files. All created last night, timestamps independently verifiable. All contain the same evidence, that you, Robert, have been embezzling for 2 years. This is insane. The board can bring in a forensic accountant. Today, they can examine every transaction. Or you can keep pretending this is a conspiracy." Daniel Morrison spoke. "Robert, I've known you 30 years. If these accusations are false, you have nothing to fear from an audit. Long silence. This is a witch hunt, Thorne said. You don't have a choice, Morrison said. The board is voting to suspend you pending investigation. Through the phone, I heard movement. Voices. A door closing. Victoria came back on. James, thank you. You can disconnect now. Wait, what happens next? We'll know in a few days. But you did your part. Will you be okay? A pause. I don't know yet. But I will be eventually. We hung up. I sat in the empty hotel room, hands shaking, realizing I might have just destroyed my life for a maybe. The flight home was turbulent. Not the plane, my thoughts. I kept checking my phone, expecting an email from HR. Termination notice. Security escort. Nothing came. I picked up Lily from school at 3:30. She ran to me and threw her arms around my waist. Did you bring me something? I'd forgotten. In all the chaos, I'd completely forgotten. I brought myself, I said. She considered this seriously. Okay, that's the best present anyway. We went home. I made spaghetti her favorite. She told me about her day, about the frog in science class, about how Marcus tried to trade her his chips for her cookies. Did you trade? I asked. No, my cookies are better. That's good negotiating. She grinned, sauce on her chin. Normal. That night, after Lily went to bed, I sat on the couch and stared at my phone. No messages from Victoria. No updates. I thought about texting her, asking if she was okay. But that felt like crossing a line. The next day at work was surreal. I arrived at 7:55, scanned my badge at the security gate, half expecting it not to work. It worked. I walked to my desk. Everything was exactly as I'd left it. Marcus was there, his desk covered in baby photos, complaining about sleep deprivation. How was Chicago? He asked. Fine. Presentation went well. Good. We've got a server migration this afternoon. You free? Yeah, I'm free. The day passed. Password resets, network diagnostics. Just another Tuesday. At 4 p.m., I checked my email. One new message. From Daniel Morrison. Subject. Confidential. My hands shook as I opened it. Mr. Hartley, I want to personally thank you for your integrity and courage. The board has concluded its preliminary investigation, and we have found sufficient evidence to support Miss Chen's accusations. Mr. Thorne has been terminated and will face criminal charges. Your willingness to come forward was instrumental. Your employment is secure, and your actions will be noted in your permanent file as exemplary. Effective immediately, you're being transferred to network security with a 20% salary increase. You've earned it. I read it 3 times. Then I put my head in my hands and tried very hard not to cry at my desk. Marcus noticed. You okay, man? Yeah, I managed. Just really good news. That night, I called Lily from work. Guess what? I said. What? We can get you that bike now. She screamed so loud I had to hold the phone away. Really? Really, really? Really, really? You're the best daddy in the whole world. I wasn't. But hearing her say it made everything, the fear, the risk, the sleepless night, worth it. 3 weeks later, I was settling into my new role. Network security was busier, more challenging, but the pay increase meant I could finally afford that bike for Lily. I bought it on Saturday and watched her ride wobbly circles in the park, laughing every time she almost fell. I hadn't seen Victoria since Chicago. She'd been busy with the investigation, with damage control, with restructuring. The company was in chaos, but the good kind, the kind that happens when rot gets cut out. On a Tuesday afternoon, I was reviewing security protocols when my phone buzzed. A text from Victoria Chen. Coffee? 15 minutes. 3rd floor break room. I stared at it. We'd never had coffee. We'd never had any interaction that wasn't crisis or business. I typed, sure. The 3rd floor break room was empty except for her. She stood by the window, holding a paper cup, looking out at the city. "Hi," I said. "Hi." She turned. She looked different. Lighter, somehow. "How's the new position?" "Good. Challenging. I'm learning a lot." "That's good." Silence. But not uncomfortable. "I wanted to thank you," she said. Properly. Not through email. Not through official channels. Just person to person. "You don't have to." "I do. You risked everything for me. For what was right." "How are you?" I asked. She considered the question. "I'm okay. Better than I expected. The board gave me Thorne's responsibilities until they hire a replacement. It's exhausting, but it's honest work." "That's good." Another pause. "I've been thinking about what you said," she continued. "About becoming quieter. About figuring out what matters. I don't have an answer yet, but I'm asking the question now. That's something." I smiled. "That's a start." She smiled back. A real smile. Not the professional one I'd seen in meetings. "Your daughter. Lily. Did she get her bike? How did you—" "You mentioned it. That night." "I did. She loves it." "Good." Victoria set down her coffee cup. "I won't pretend we're friends," she said. "That would be dishonest. But I think you're someone I'm glad exists in the world. Someone I'm glad I know, even just a little. I feel the same." She nodded once, then checked her watch. "I have a meeting. But thank you, James. For everything." "Thank you, Victoria." She walked to the door, then paused. "If you ever need anything at all, I mean that." "Same." She left. I stood alone in the break room, holding my own coffee, feeling something I couldn't quite name. Not love, not attraction, just recognition. The quiet acknowledgement that we'd seen each other fully, even briefly, and that meant something. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was Mrs. Patterson. "Lily's asking if you can pick her up early today. Something about a school art show?" I'd forgotten. Again. "Tell her I'm on my way." I left my coffee on the counter and headed for the elevator. Life kept moving. Crisis passed into memory, but some things remained. The knowledge that I'd done the right thing, that Victoria was still out there fighting her battles, that Lily had a father who showed up. 3 months later, I received a short email. No subject line, just a message. "The investigation is closed. Thorne is going to prison. The company is stable. I'm thinking about taking a vacation. First one in 8 years. Thought you should know. V.C." I wrote back. "That's great. Where are you going?" Her response came an hour later. "Nowhere expensive. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere I can figure out who I am when I'm not working." I replied, "Good luck with that. It's harder than it sounds." "I know. But you did it." That was the last message. I don't know if Victoria ever figured out who she was beyond her job. I don't know if she found peace or happiness or whatever she was looking for. But sometimes, late at night after Lily's asleep, I think about that hotel room in Chicago. The rain outside. 2 people who barely knew each other, sharing their truths in the dark. I think about how she called me single dad with something that sounded like respect. I think about how I told her she was human, and she believed me. And I think about how some connections don't need to be maintained to matter. They just exist, quietly. A reminder that once, when it counted,